What's up guys? In this video we're going to be taking a look at the Potensic Atom SE. This $300 foldable drone is under 250 grams, films in 4K, claims to have 31-minute flight times, and has a range of 2.5 miles. Alright, so let's just do a quick unboxing. We'll see what comes in the kit. This is the Fly More kit, but you can get this for about $50 cheaper if you just get the drone, controller, and one battery combo. In that version, you won't get the spare battery or the carrying case that's in this box. Alright, we have an important warning. And we get a quick start guide. So here is the bag that it comes in. This is actually a pretty nice bag. It's very similar to the one that I have for my Air 2S. Inside, I'm assuming we've got everything in here. This is the controller. We got two antennas here. And then I'm assuming, yep. So this entire controller kind of pulls apart and then your phone just goes in the middle. We'll take a look at this in a bit. But the drone is in this pocket. Yep, so here's the drone. Looks like we have a Velcro strap kind of protecting it. Oh, so these back legs fold out different than DJI. I'm so used to how the legs fold out on DJI where they kind of swivel downwards. These ones just pull out just like the front. So there's the drone. We'll take a closer look at that in a bit. Also in the kit, we should have two batteries, and it looks like there's an instruction manual. So you get this user manual right here. There's a strap for the bag. And then we have our two batteries down the very bottom right here. It's like a Velcro pocket kind of thing. Let's see if there's anything in here. Nothing. I get some stuff up top. So up top here, we have all the cables that you're going to use to hook up whatever phone you have. Got some spare props, some spare screws, and it looks like an additional disclaimer kind of manual thing. So off the bat, this carrying case that comes with everything, good size, fits everything. Can fit the controller in here, drone in this side, fit your batteries down the bottom, and then any spare props or wires you can just put up in this. And you also have a pocket, like a Velcro pocket right here. And yeah, nice little carrying case. All right, so here are the wires that we get. So you've got a USB to USB-C, and I'm assuming that this is going to be used to charge the batteries. I'll show you what the batteries look like. So here is one of the batteries, and these just charge through this USB-C. So in this kit, we got two batteries, but if you went with the $50 cheaper version that doesn't come with the case or the spare battery, you only get one of these and you won't get that case. The additional three wires that you have are for your phone, and this is going to be connecting your phone to your controller. So each end will have a USB-C, and that's going to plug into your controller. And then on the other end, we have a Lightning, so this would be used for an iPhone. We have a USB-C, and we have a micro USB. We'll take a closer look at the controller and how you mount your phone in this in a bit. Right now, let's take a look at the drone. All right, so here's the drone. Off the bat, obviously the thing feels and looks very similar to the DJI Mavic Mini. Obviously, extremely similar form factor with how these arms close up and you can just kind of fit it in your pocket or in your bag or something. The battery compartment is back here. Right underneath that, you have your micro SD card slot right here. And this is something that comes separately, so you're gonna have to buy this separately. It doesn't come with the drone. Up front, we've got our camera that has a dampened single axis rotation or tilt. So this doesn't have a 3-axis gimbal mount like DJI drones do. So I'm curious to see if the internal stabilization is gonna correct the image to be locked with the horizon, because when you're flying in winds, the drone's gonna tilt like this, and then your shot is gonna be either tilted like that, or if you have a 3-axis gimbal like DJI does, it's automatically just gonna keep the camera flat. Since this doesn't have that, I'm curious if the internal stabilization is gonna correct it to be locked with the horizon. Either way, the camera that's built into this has a 12 megapixel Sony sensor with a 118 degree field of view. This films in 4K 30 FPS. I'm not completely sure about the other camera control options, like if you can lock the ISO, the shutter speed, color temperature, all that stuff. We'll figure that out once we take this out for a test flight. The drone has built-in GPS, so you'll get auto return home functions as well as a couple built-in presets like follow me mode, points of interest, and circle flight. And on the bottom, this is going to work in combination with the GPS. We've got 3 sensors on the bottom here, so you won't get obstacle avoidance with this drone, but it should be able to sense the ground when it's trying to land, and it'll sense any object that's underneath it. The motors on this are brushless motors. I'm not really sure of the size. This comes with bi-blade props already installed, and these are just held in with a Phillips screw. The arms fold up relatively easy. They just collapse like that. And there you go. Let's take a look at the controller. All right, so here's the controller. We've got 2 antennas up top. In order to mount your phone in the middle, this entire controller stretches out. This is a pretty cool design. On the side, we have a groove, and this is where the USB cable is gonna plug in right down here, and then it's gonna run along the sides and plug into your phone. So your phone is just gonna sit right in the middle, right like that. And then we have this cable that's gonna plug into the bottom right here. I'm using an iPhone, so I'm using the lightning cable that they included, and this is gonna pretty much just run up into the side of the controller, right like that. And then once we download the Potensic Pro app, we'll be able to connect it to the controller, connect this all to the drone, and we'll see what the drone sees while we're flying. In the controller, you have these little joystick, I don't know, what do you want to call these? In the bottom of the controller, you have these little joysticks that just pull right out, and then they screw on right here. And you have them on both sides, right like that. Now you're pretty much ready to go. Up top, we have a couple buttons. This button is gonna be the shutter button to take a picture, and this is gonna be used to record video. This right here is our dial, and that's gonna control the camera tilt. So when you move this in one of these directions, we'll see which way is which when we're outside, but that's gonna basically just control the camera tilt. Looks like we've got a return home button over on this side, so if you lose connection with the drone, you can just click that and the drone should come back home. Over here, you've got the power button to turn it on, exactly like DJI. So now the controller's on, we've got it plugged in. We'll download the Potensic Pro app, get a battery plugged into our drone, we'll take it out and test it. All right, so we got the drone all on. Looks like it's all synced up with the phone and the controller. I just took a picture by accident, whatever. I'm gonna switch into the video mode because I wanna see what kind of settings we have video-wise. So if we go over on this side of the screen over here on the right-hand side, click this key to enter the guide camera setting. All right, so we've got a grid that we can put on, a watermark if we want it. I don't want a watermark. EV video segmentation resolution ratio. So I want to make sure that this is at 4K 30. Looks good. It also films in 2.7K 30, 1080p 60, and 1080p 30. So I'm just going to keep it on 4K 30. I've got a 64 megabyte card in the drone, so I am going to format that just to make sure that we've got enough space to film. Looks good. So it doesn't look like you have any control over the ISO or any of those types of settings. So let's take this up and we'll see how it flies. So I just pushed the sticks to the center just like you would a DJI drone, and it's armed, and now it just stopped. So I'm gonna arm it again. We'll throttle up. I'm gonna make sure that I'm recording on here. It says the return home point has been updated. So let's take it up and see how high this thing goes. It looks like it's holding its position pretty well, which is nice. I feel like a lot of drones do struggle with that, and DJI is definitely one of the ones that has good GPS equipment, and this one looks like it's holding its position pretty well up there. I am up 183, 185, getting up to 200 feet. I'm gonna take it all the way up to 400 if it lets me, and we'll see how it handles all the way up there. All right, maximum limit height, so getting close to 400. Looks like it maxed out at 362. That's probably just a setting that I have to change. But it looks like it's holding its position pretty well. As you can see, it since the camera isn't on a gimbal, it's kind of jerking when I move the drone back and forth. So I'm curious if that's the kind of thing that's gonna smooth out with the internal stabilization afterwards, but I guess we'll see. Looks like a pretty good image. The return height is 364 feet, and it looks like I'm starting to go below that, so it's probably just saying that because I'm starting to go lower, and I think it automatically just sets the return home height as the highest point that you've flown to. You can see the camera tilting a little bit. Otherwise, it actually does look pretty smooth. If you move slowly, you can get a pretty smooth looking image. So you can see, since it's tilted, it's probably just fighting some wind up there. So I'm gonna start to land it. Looks like it's getting a little bit of prop wash or something. So I'm actually gonna fly it over to this little field over here. We're gonna go above the water, and I'm gonna hit the return home button, and we're gonna see what happens. And when I let go of the sticks, it looks like it's holding its position pretty well. Obviously it has the little tilts and everything once in a while when it's fighting the wind, but otherwise it looks pretty good. All right, so on the controller, you have a little home and a pause button. So I'm gonna hit that, and I'm gonna see what happens. You have to hold it. All right, so it says returning. So it looks like it's going up. It's at 270 feet, probably going up to 364, which was the highest point that I went to. So now it's automatically rotating. I'm not hitting the sticks at all, and I am right in that field right there. All right, it's pretty much right above where we are. So I'm gonna actually just let it do its thing, and I'm gonna see how it lands and how it does with all that. Looks like it's coming down good. Not gonna get in any of those trees. So it does look like it saved its position pretty well. Nice, and it's landed. That was pretty smooth. That was a pretty good flight, and it's good to see that the return home function works pretty well. So taking a look at the intelligent flight modes over here, you got this, you got head mode, unlock mode, attitude mode off, circle flight, waypoint flight, and follow me. So I'm gonna try circle flight, and I'm assuming maybe the drone just has to be above us. Let's see if I can have it orbit this this little shed right here. I'm gonna have it start above the shed, or whatever you want to call this. So I'll have it go like right here. Go in intelligent flight modes, and we'll do circle flight. Let's see what it does. So it's backing up away from it, and now I think it's just gonna do circles. So we point the camera at that little hut, and it should do circles around that. Hey guys, TronCat from the future here. After playing with the app a little bit and just kind of seeing the different settings that we have, if you click these little three dots up in the top corner, this is going to open up another section of settings, and in this you can actually change the speed settings so you can fly a little bit faster than I was flying in that video. You can turn on beginner mode. You can also set the return height, flight fence. So if you wanted to keep the drone within a certain area, you would adjust that here. And then the circle flight setting is right here. So when I was orbiting that little shack thing, this is how you would adjust those settings. So you can change it from clockwise to counterclockwise. You can change the radius size up to 164 feet, and then the circling flight speed. So you can change how fast the drone is moving. I'm going to stop recording. Let's check out the photo modes. I'm going to click this button, guide switch between video recording and photography functions. So I'll click that. And let's just take a look at what these pictures, what the picture quality looks like. Can we turn the EV format? Raw JPEG. All right, here we go. Let's take some raw pictures. And we can edit these and see what the raw image quality looks like.
I'll go up again and take some looking down. Looks good. I'll take one of this field. And of the prison, these pawns in front of it. Cool. All right, I'm gonna land this thing. We'll go back to the computer and we'll see what the footage looks like.
All right, just getting back from my first real flight with this thing. Let's start with the video quality. Video-wise, this camera is actually pretty good. The footage looks like true 4K footage, and I'm pretty impressed with the quality, honestly. I wish that the image stabilization that was built into this was a little bit better though. When you're flying, since this camera is pretty much just on a dampened mount and you only have control over the camera tilt, you can see all of the pitch and roll motions that the drone makes to counter the wind or just move around in general. If you fly the drone nice and slow, you can get some pretty nice shots with this thing. I do wish that you had more camera control. It's awesome that this thing films such nice 4K footage, but it would be even more nice if we could fine tune the color temperature, the ISO, shutter speed, stuff like that. Another feature that I really think a drone like this could benefit from a lot is having gyro data built into the video file, so that then we could stabilize the footage in post through a program like GyroFlow. This would make the video 10 times smoother than it is off the drone, plus it would allow you to lock the horizon. Next, let's talk about photography. I'm glad that this has a JPEG plus RAW option, and this is what I used when I was taking pictures. I always shoot in RAW because you get far better details in the shadows and you have more flexibility when you're editing. So props to Potensic for letting us take photos in RAW with this. These pictures actually look pretty good. So overall, I'm pretty impressed with it. The overall quality feels solid. I think that this would make a great beginner drone for anyone that's just getting into aerial photography because it isn't quite as expensive as DJI, but you can get some good quality images and video out of it. GPS-wise, it holds its position very well. Auto return home worked perfectly, and these are essential features for any drone like this, especially for beginners. Flight-wise, I was seeing about 20 to 25 minute long flights. Just so you guys know, I don't think I showed this in the initial unboxing, but the battery clips back. Whoop, the battery clips in right here. You have a little clip on the bottom and it pulls right out. And then when you have the battery in here, you can check the battery status by clicking this button. And also when you're, are you kidding me right now? When you're turning the drone on, it's just like DJI's drones. Click once, hold it, and you're good. But anyways, flight-wise, I was seeing about 20 to 25 minute long flights. I think that if you just let the drone kind of hover in one spot and you don't have any wind, you would probably see the 31-minute flight times that they advertise on the box. Regardless, 25 minutes is still pretty impressive. I rarely find myself needing more than 15 minutes when I'm flying a drone like this on a project. So in conclusion, I love that it actually has some solid quality 4K footage, and I also love that it takes photos in RAW. Both are pretty damn good quality. I do wish that there was more image control and either a built-in gyro for post-stabilization for the video, or maybe just a little bit better internal stabilization. So that's going to do it for this video. If you found this helpful, make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave the video a like, and if you have any questions about the Potensic Atom SE, leave a comment down below.